Today we are going to talk about decoding the application tracking system, and Destiny is our facilitator. But before we get started, I just want to cover some housekeeping stuff, especially about Zoom. I know that this is a webinar, but if you have any questions, you can use the chat window. This session will be recorded and will be shared with you. There's no need to use the video. However, if maybe like there's a long question and then you want to use your microphone, you can let us know. And I think we have the option to unmute you so you can use the microphone. Also, you can check the events calendar. All of the free events are listed in there. But before we go to the next slide, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Katerina. I am an HR manager and career coach, and I've been in HR for over 6 years, I think now. I also have worked with many international students and internationally trained professionals. I help them with their resumes, cover letters, and and with their careers to find jobs. So I'm really excited to be here today.
And I'm Destiny. I work as a career counselor. I mainly work with injured and disabled workers and help them get back into their field. Often they are rehabilitating. So they started working in one field and now they're transferring over to a different one. So rejigging the resume and working with them to help them start a new career.
Yeah, perfect. We covered this. So probably you all heard, Devon. We help students and graduates to get hired in Canada. So far we have worked and helped like over 25,000 job seekers from across Canada. We have conducted over 500 events since 2019, and so far we have built relationship with employers, and we have over 30 plus Canadian employees with active job opportunities. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the applicant tracking system. You will learn some things about the ATS, and I will just pass it over now to Destiny so she can start the presentation.
Okay, so we'll start out by talking about what applicant tracking systems are. I'm sure you've heard the term ATS software. So as we know, employers receive hundreds of job applications, and this essentially is software that helps employers manage the recruitment process. So this software collects, organizes, and tracks job applications. It's essentially like a digital filing cabinet for job applications. So it's a database where recruiters and hiring managers can store, organize, and manage their information that's related to the job applicants. And often the features of the ATS system will be resume parsing, keyword matching, and communication tools that will help facilitate the recruitment process. So we're going to dig into each of those a bit throughout the presentation. Okay, so for this part of the presentation, please use emoji to react if you've heard of any of these things about ATS software. So number one, they automatically reject resumes without human review. 2, they rely solely on exact keyword matches. 3, they're scary robots that you have to beat. 4, it's impossible to stand out and grab the attention of the ATS. 5, resumes disappear into ATS black holes. So if you've ever heard of any of these myths, please use emoji to react, or you can type into the chat. So a couple thumbs up. People have definitely heard of the ATS software. All right. So let's break down some of these common myths and teach you about some facts. So myth number 1, ATS software only looks for exact keyword matches. So this is not true. ATS systems use a combination of keyword matching and other algorithms to screen and rank resumes. So the modern ATS software, they've evolved to use contextual and semantic analysis. So they consider the context and they consider synonyms to fully understand your qualifications. So for example, if the job job description mentions something like project management, it's also going to recognize and accept project coordination because they're both relevant. That is a synonym of project management. Okay, so keyword matching, some do's and don'ts. So do customize your resume for each job application. This is really important. Feature the most important keywords and industry-specific language that is used in the job postings. Have a dedicated skills section and integrate keywords naturally into your resume. So don't just pop them in anywhere. And definitely don't overstuff your resume with irrelevant keywords and don't use them in invisible text. So I've heard of people doing this in the past, kind of putting it in the header or the footer in white writing. So I don't suggest you do that. And also don't use acronyms. So spell out the full term and then include the acronym in parentheses. So every field is going to have their specific jargon. For example, in my field, my designation is RTWDM, so Return to Work Disability Manager. So I would write that out in my resume. Another myth, ATS screen candidates out automatically without human intervention. So they automate initial screening, but they do require human intervention for final selection or rejection. So in most cases, rejections are sent from a real person and not the ATS software. So human recruiters, they set criteria for the ATS filters. So for example, maybe the criteria involves keywords from the job posting, involves a list of skills that they're looking for, relevant education, and relevant work experience. So then the ATS is going to filter out those applications based on this predefined criteria. But at the end of the day, the rejection is going to be from a real human that goes in there and decides, okay, we're going to move forward with this candidate or not. Okay, so an ATS timeline. So it starts out with the recruiter creating a job posting and posting it. Then the job seekers will submit their applications to that posting. Next, the recruiter defines the criteria for the ATS filters based on the job requirements. The applicant tracking software parses through the submitted resumes and extracts key information. Then candidates are categorized into groups such as highly qualified, qualified, and not qualified. Then recruiters will review the results that are generated by these filters. And then the recruiter will decide if candidates are rejected or then invited to the next stage of the recruitment process, which would typically be an interview or a phone screen. Okay, so one exception to consider is knockout questions. So knockout questions are specific questions included in the initial application process to quickly filter out candidates who don't meet certain basic requirements for the job. So for example, if a candidate's response to a knockout question indicates that they don't possess a fundamental qualification or requirement for the job, their application might be automatically rejected. Knockout questions are set by recruiters during the configuration of the ATS for each job posting. And it helps them sift through the candidates. So here are some examples of knockout questions that you might encounter while applying for jobs. So for example, do you have a bachelor's degree in whatever field? Do you hold a valid specific certification? Maybe they're looking for first aid, maybe they're looking for a specific designation that's relevant to your field. Do you have at least blank years of experience in a specific industry or a specific position? Are you legally authorized to work in Canada? Are you fluent in whatever language they're looking for fluency in? And do you have proficiency in a specific software or programming language? For example, MicroCAD. So some do's and don'ts for these knockout questions. So definitely answer these questions honestly. Um, Carefully read through the knockout questions to fully understand what's being asked. Definitely don't ignore these questions. They're put into the recruitment process for a reason. And don't answer dishonestly or overstate your qualifications to meet the criteria. At the end of the day, that's not really going to help you move forward in the process.
Is it okay if I just like add something? Just
Absolutely, please do.
yes. So just wanted to like add on the don't like answer the questions honestly. I use knockout questions in my recruitment process, and these are like because I work for a healthcare service provider. So when I hire therapists, and these therapists they need to have a license in order to be qualified for the role. Because if you don't have the license, you won't be able to treat patients. And during my like when I created posting on Indeed, especially Indeed has this options where you can create knockout questions. And when we do virtual job fairs, we use the same thing. And usually like these knockout questions are because it is a requirement. For example, if you don't have a license, you won't be able to provide therapy, like I said before. So if somebody applies without the license, I won't be able to offer them a job because by law they need to have that license, like to do the work. And I find that sometimes people don't even read through, or like they will say yes just because they know about the knockout questions. So just to pass that step, right? And then they will get an interview. When then they come to do an interview with me, I realized that they didn't answer honestly these questions, that they lie, because when they send the resume, when I ask them, and I will repeat the knockout question, I'll be like, do you have a speech language pathologist license or a master's degree? Because that is a requirement. They'll be like, no. So I'm like, why you answered yes here? It just doesn't look good. Speaks a lot about your personality, right? And also you're wasting the time of the recruiter. And like it they might even like say like, okay, this person is not honest, they did this, and like you might be on their list not to contact you again, because this might happen. So don't please like waste your chance to apply for a job that you might be qualified like next month. They might post something that fits your requirements. So don't like burn any bridges. That's my advice. If you don't have the qualifications, answer no. It's better that way than to answer yes and then to see that you didn't answer the question honestly. So just my advice. Just wanted to share that example.
Thank you so much, Katerina. That's very valuable. She did bring up some really important points. Like, essentially, when you're invited to an interview, you have an opportunity to network with professionals in your field and potentially start working for a company that you're interested in. So you don't want to portray yourself in a dishonest light. It's just not going to carry well throughout your reputation of your professional career. And like she said, you are wasting the recruiter's time, but also your own time, right? You do want to look at roles that are going to be feasible for you. Okay, so we'll move on to some tips for creating an ATS friendly resume. So we do suggest that you use a clear professional layout with standard fonts. So for example, these fonts would be like Arial, Times New Roman, and Calibri. Katerina, I don't know if you would suggest any other ones, but those are the main three that I
Yes,
typically
they
use.
are.
Yeah, okay. We suggest adding keywords that are found in the job description. I sometimes, with my clients, even will print out the job posting and then highlight specific keywords, especially ones that pop up often that you're going to want to integrate into your resume. Also, customizing your resume for each job application. And then save and send your resume. So submit it in a common format, so a Word document or a PDF. I do recommend PDF over Word. Mainly because it'll maintain the formatting. It's essentially just taking an image of your document. And another suggestion is to label sections clearly with standard headings. So work experience, education, skills. You don't need to have fancy headings. The clearer, the better. Ensure your resume is free of typos, spelling errors, and any grammatical mistakes. This is really important. That's why it's very easy to ask someone to just review your resume. If you've looked at it so many times, you might be missing, a small comma here or a little typo. So it's good to have a friend review. And then avoid images, tables, charts, or graphs because this might not get picked up by the ATS system. Okay, so now we're going to answer some common ATS questions. So what happens to my rejected application? So many applicant tracking software systems store rejected applications in their database for future reference. And a rejected application might be reconsidered for future job openings with the same company. So like we mentioned before, it is like a database for applicants. And most companies will automatically delete rejected applications after a certain period of time. Are all ATS systems the same? The answer is no, they're definitely not the same. So there are hundreds of applicant tracking systems available. Each have their own features, functionalities, and design. And some larger companies even have their own in-house applicant tracking systems. Can an ATS interpret unconventional resume formats? So unconventional resume formats, such as highly stylized or visually complex resumes, may pose challenges for ATS systems. So maybe, a template that you found on Canva might not be as appropriate and might not get through the system. It might not read it as well as something that is a more basic template that you could find in Word. An ATS system relies on parsing algorithms to extract information from resumes. So unconventional formats, non-standard layouts, additional graphics, or intricate designs that are embedded in the resume, it might confuse the algorithms, and that would lead to errors in the extraction of your critical information. So here are some ATS scanning tools to help optimize your resume. So Devant has its own resume scanner, which you will have access to. So we do suggest that you use this scanner. Have any of you accessed this tool before? You could pop into the chat. Oh, and they asked to repeat the 3 fonts. So we do suggest Arial, Times New Roman, or Calibri. So has anyone used the resume scanner through Devant yet?
Probably they haven't. We don't have any response. Oh,
Aneri
yes.
you
Yes.
did.
Somebody said yes. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Did you find it useful? Because it does parse through each section of your resume and give you very specific advice, right down to the font, the formatting, the titles, suggestions for improving wording. Okay, so 2 people have used it. Yeah, we definitely recommend throwing your resume in the scanner prior to submitting it to a job posting. Another free resume scanner is JobScan. So you can upload your resume, add the job that you're applying to, and then view the results. And again, much like Devant's resume scanning tool, it's going to highlight each section and really parse through and offer advice for improving each area of your resume. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions? Oh, cover letter. So somebody says, like, can you tell something about cover letter? Cover letter and the ATS or cover letter in general? Okay, actually, we can talk about both. So, cover letter in the ATS, I think like it's kind of like the same. You should follow the same steps as for the resume. Make sure when you write your cover letter, you include some of the keywords. And so in that way, you know, like it will pick up some of those keywords as well. Some companies ask for cover letters, some don't. I find that a lot of companies now, they don't ask for cover letter, but it's important to have one. And just like when you write your cover letter, make sure that it's just like on one page. That's my advice. And then do not write, you know, like a lot. Your cover letter needs to be short, but also to just, you know, like highlight your skills and experience that it's relevant to the job description. You pretty much see it as like a selling tool, as a marketing tool. Tell them why they should choose you over like the other candidates. And also make sure that it reflects the resume. It should not be the same, but like when you read the cover letter, then when you move to the resume, kind of like they're connected and it makes sense. Destiny, do you have anything to add?
In terms of the cover letters?
Yes.
No, I agree. You should keep a cover letter to one page. Definitely include terminology from the job posting, much like the resume. But I think it's also really important to not be repeating the exact same wording that you have in your resume. Definitely use the cover letter as an opportunity to stand out. So talk about why you want to work for that company in particular. That's going to help you stand out. Beyond that, maybe you have additional accomplishment statements that you can bring into your cover letter that aren't included on your resume. And maybe there's some additional volunteer experience that you didn't have on your resume, but maybe it's relevant to the job and it's something that you can mention there.
Yeah,
But definitely
exactly.
important to not have the exact same wording
Same
on
thing.
both. Yeah, use it as an opportunity to share more details about why you would be a good fit.
Perfect.
So we have someone asking if we can we get a standard resume template. The resume that they're using contains tables, and that's why it might not be getting calls. Okay.
I might be wrong, but I think there is like a free resume template on the Vans website.
Potentially.
Or,
Word definitely
yeah,
has a lot of free templates as
that's
well.
true.
Um,
And also you can find a lot of free resume templates on Google too. Just if you Google free resume templates, there are a lot of websites that will show up and you can use, you know, like you can download the template for free. If you have tables on your like resume, then definitely either remove the tables and just like write something else. So you don't have to change the whole template, just like remove the tables and then create bullet points or just like a skill section. Okay, does file size matter in ATS? Example, I want to add my work with my resume. So I'm not sure if I understand this correct, but your work experience should be included in your resume. So there's no need to like include anything else. Are you talking
Unless
about
she's
like
talking about a
certificates?
portfolio or
Oh,
something.
portfolio. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so this is my advice. If the company asks for a resume, only add a resume, nothing else. Like upload your resume and that's it. If it asks for a cover letter and resume, upload your cover letter, upload your resume. Don't upload any additional information because they're not going to look at those information. If they're only looking for a resume, just do that. So it is important, you know, like to stick to what they're asking. And sometimes some ATS might have, and if you try to upload like a few things, it might say that you can only upload like just like one document, or maybe like you know, like you can upload more because like it, you know, like you kind of like there is like a specific, like you said, like file size. So the system will tell you right away. But definitely if they ask for a resume, please just upload your resume. In your resume, you should explain your work experience so that it's enough. because we talked about this so many times. All of the recruiters and hiring managers, they don't spend more like the 12 seconds when they're like screening resumes. They like look through like in 10, 12 seconds, even less, and they just look for keywords. That's why we are like so focusing and highlighting this, that you should use keywords. So even if you add them like other documents or like a resume that is like 5 pages, they're not going to read the whole thing. So it is very important to like capture all of your work experience, all of your skills and strengths, and use accomplishment statements in 1 or 2 pages on your resume.
Also, Aneri, if you wanted to clarify what you're adding in terms of your work. So, for example, I had a client recently in digital marketing, and he wanted to share his work. So, what he did was add a link in his resume that goes right to his portfolio that shares his digital marketing projects. So, that's an option as well. I don't know if that's relevant for you.
Okay, it is
Oh, it is.
perfect.
Okay. So maybe just add a link in. So typically in the header, you're going to add all your contact information, but you can add your LinkedIn profile link, and that would also be an appropriate area to add the link to your profile. Okay.
Okay. So
Literally, I have to read
Priyanka,
through. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So Priyanka asked, if we have mixed experiences in marketing and administrative assistant, how to represent it together? Okay, there are like 2 other questions. So first I'm gonna like answer this. So what do you mean like mixed experiences? Like if you have experience in marketing and you have experience as an admin assistant, you just list those 2 jobs separately. And let's say if you're like now leaning more towards marketing, I would use more bullet points and explain it a little bit better. The marketing job and an admin job will just be there with like a few bullet points, just like some of the skills that might be transferable for the job that you're applying. But those 2 like roles should be in there. If you have like a lot of experience, you don't have to include all of your roles. You can even just say like earlier roles and just like add your roles with the from start and date, and then that's it, no bullet points. So there are like things that you can do in here. But if these are your 2 most recent work experiences, then what I would suggest to just like focus more on the one role if that is like very similar to the role that you're applying. But or if you have like a dual role, that's completely different, because you can just use the job title and like include the task that you did. I'm not sure, like, did I answer your question? Like, can you just like specify what you mean by mixed experiences? Is it like 2 different jobs, or it's just like one role where you do your admin assistant work and marketing as well?
And also those 2 jobs, I feel like a lot of the skills would cross over. So, for example, someone who's worked in marketing and then also admin would have professional communication skills, definitely strong technical skills, writing skills. Um, so that would be relevant for both. Oh,
Okay. Okay, so Priyanka asked to unmute her. Let's see. Okay, we can do that. Oh,
oh, I think I can.
yes. Okay, perfect.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
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 Uh, so my question is, suppose I have, 1 year of experience in, as a social media assistant manager, and but as I moved here in Canada, I have experience in, barista and all. So it's a mixed thing, right? But I'm looking for something in social media, but it's a 2 year ago thing, right? So how can I, put more focus on that particular area rather than my barista? Like I'm little confused because it's a age it's a 2 year thing, right? I have done that thing in last 2 years, not now.
Okay. So right now you're working as an admin assistant. That's what I'm understanding here in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I did for one of my clients. And So what I did was we still put like the current experience in Canada because it's important, like the company that you're applying for to see that you're working and that you're, like gaining new skills. So what we did is at this like current experience, we just add like a few bullet points just to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like this is what I'm doing. And then after that, it was like her experience from back home that is very similar to the role that she's applying, and we really like add more stuff in there, and they were both on the first page. When the employer or the hiring like manager, the recruiter like opens the resume, at least they will see those two experiences. They will also see that this person now it's working in Canada and it's working as an admin assistant and it's looking like for something in like a different role. So that's what I would do, and then this worked for her because she was able to find something in the role that she was that she wanted to go. That's
Yeah.
Katie.
I would
Again,
also,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Say.
So I would also suggest having a skills profile that is more specific to social media and content generation.
Yeah,
So using those key terms that you find in the job posting to put in your skills profile and reflecting on your past experience as a social
yeah,
media assistant manager.
yeah.
Were there specific software that you learned how to navigate that you're proficient in now? So definitely
Mm-hmm.
highlighting those skills. Any specific projects that you worked on,
Yeah,
um, using those accomplishment statements would be really important. So I don't know
yeah.
if you have a skills profile, but
Yes.
I would recommend that.
Okay, I have one more question. So this many times they ask you knockout question, which you have already covered in your cover letter, right? So, like, can we copy paste the cover letter thing in the knockout question part? Is it fine, or we should rewrite it in different by paraphrasing it, or maybe in other way out?
So those are not knockout questions.
Okay.
So those are just like general questions that are like application questions. That's how we call them. They're like in the application if you have to write a lot. Knockout questions are only answered with yes or no most of the
Okay.
time. Okay, so
Then
like
can we
those are,
copy
yeah.
paste?
So those type of questions, yes, you can copy, like I don't say like copy and paste, but you can use the cover letter to write something because usually they want to see like how you will, it's mostly like tell us why do you want to work here, or tell us about your most challenging thing that you like solved and you were able to to have like great results. These are those type of questions just to like learn a little bit more about you. And
Yeah.
definitely we can use things that you write in your resume, you can use things that you write in your cover letter, just like make it like change a few things so it's not completely like copy and paste from your cover letter,
Mm-hmm.
but you can use most of the information from there. And if there's some of the same sentences, just don't do like what you have in the cover letter to put it in there. I would change it slightly, but still will have like the same like content.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And one more thing, does AI also, detect cover letter keywords?
AI.
Yeah.
So AI is
Like the
helps
applicant
you.
tracking
Yes.
system. Yeah.
Oh, the so ATS you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought like that the AI it's like, yeah, okay. So that's why I was confused.
Yeah.
So if sorry, if does AI pick up the okay words from the cover letter? They do. If they ask in the application to upload cover letter, mainly might be like they will ask you to like submit it as one file. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it will. Or even if there are like two options to upload it, like one for resume, one for cover letter, it will still like use keywords for the cover letter as well.
And even when they ask you for reference letter, like
Mhm.
one of the place where I was applying for internship, it was UNDP's internship, and they ask any of your maybe professor or someone, they need their reference letter. So how to what to add in that, like to be very precise, how they pick, do they pick also from reference letter, or it's just a formality thing?
So reference letter, like sometimes if they ask for reference letter, what they're gonna use them when they sort kind of like when they go through the applicants, right? And now they have like 5 people that they want to interview, or they think that they will be like a good candidates for this role, and then they will interview them. When they have to make a decision, that's when they will read the reference letters, and then they will kind of like make a decision. It might help, but it's not the only main thing that like will help them to make the decision, but it might help in the end. Or they just used it to see, okay, like this professor said nice thing, or like they had a
Mm-hmm.
supervisor, so but it's not the reason why they're going to like choose you. Like they definitely going to look at your resume, your skills, how you communicate, how you presented to yourself in the interview. There are so many other factors. The reference letter is like one of them, but it's like a very minor.
Okay, one last question. Is LinkedIn helpful? Like, one of the session which says that you can connect with your, hiring team of that particular company, and, then you can get connected with them. Do they really help, like, hiring team to get connected with the company, and like how things work?
Yes, LinkedIn, it is very helpful. I highly recommend to constantly use LinkedIn, search for jobs, connect with like people that are in the same field as you. You can even, like chat with them by like maybe sending like a message and just say like if they're interested in informational interview. I'm not sure if you guys have heard before about informational interviews, but these are just interviews that you want to like conduct with leaders and learn about their role, how they got there, what are the challenges. It's not about they hiring you, it's about you interviewing them and learning about their role if that is the career path that you want to take. So like I would use LinkedIn a lot for networking. There are a lot of
Mhm.
networking groups. There are a lot of, like a lot of materials out there that you can use, and also for job searching. I know that during COVID, we were not able to like attend networking events and this type of events. But now that it's over, there are a lot of networking events that are happening. So I recommend to attend those too. And you can find a lot about that from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, it is important. I would like, it's a free tool. Why not use it? There is a lot of people out there that can, like help you, like, or even like,
Mhm.
like it might be the reason why you will get a job if you like build those great networking, like those
Mhm.
great relationship with them through
I think
networking.
Thank you
also,
so much, Katrina. It was very informative. Yes, yes, sorry. Sorry, I
it's
cut
okay.
you.
Also, no, to add to what she said, because LinkedIn is very valuable, I definitely do recommend having a profile on LinkedIn and engaging with posts on LinkedIn, networking, requesting informational interviews, and also using it as a research tool. So, for example, you can just type in a job title that you are looking for. So, for example, social media manager, content creator, or whatever you're looking for, and then specifically press people so that you can look at people who have similar career paths or a career path that you would like to follow. And then you can see what type of internships, maybe what type of jobs they've had, what type of credentials they had, and try to emulate that in your own career path. So using it
Mm-hmm.
as a research tool is also really beneficial.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Destiny. It was really
No
helpful.
problem. Okay, so to answer Dion, a bit ago, he asked on Indeed, there's an option to add supporting documents. So, for example, a cover letter. So, just to be clear, we don't need to add one if the posting did not request it. So, you don't need to. I definitely do recommend adding a cover letter. I think the difference, what a cover letter can provide that a resume can't, is personalization. You can really express your enthusiasm for the company, for the position. Also, you can address gaps in knowledge, which is not something that you're going to list on your resume. But maybe, for example, they've asked that you have um, proficiency in a certain software program, and maybe you've never used it before, but you can mention in there um, that you adapt well to new software and that you're willing to learn. So, addressing that gap in knowledge is something that you can use the cover letter for. Yeah, giving it an introduction, personalizing your application further. I don't know, Katerina, what do you think about cover letters?
No, I agree. Like, so I know that we said that you should always just upload the documents the company is asking. A lot of times you will see on the applications that optional cover letter. And like Destiny said, like I would definitely like upload it. If there's like optional, but still I would upload it because like you can highlight some of the skills. Maybe a lot of people will not submit a cover letter because it's optional, and then you might get a chance to stand out. What we just said is not to upload. If they just say resume, do not upload resume and cover letter together and then send it as one file. That's what I meant, because I see a lot of in applications they just say only apply your only upload your resume. Do not include a cover letter or any other documents. So that is the most important thing. If they ask for a resume, just upload the resume. If they ask for a resume and say cover letter optional, I would upload the cover letter. Do we have any other questions? I think we do.
Shukti asked if I'm currently pursuing a finance internship and I have administrative experience as well. I want to apply to jobs in admin. So how should I structure my resume?
Okay. So you are currently looking for internship in finance. You are not enrolled in one. Sorry, like you're not actually doing your internship right now, correct? You're looking for internships in finance. Okay. Oh, you are doing your internship in finance. Okay. And you want to like find a part-time job or like yeah. Okay, perfect. So, and you said like administrative experience as well. So I don't see any issues here. I would like add the internship, of course. But maybe just say like currently, like enrolled in an internship role, like just like write a little bit about that and just focus on the admin stuff. When was your last admin position? Was it like last year? It was in May of this year. Okay, amazing. So you can just like put in your resume, like include that in your resume and just say from May up until now, probably you were doing, you're enrolled, like you're actually, doing your internship. So I don't see any issues here. You don't have to like include a lot of stuff about your internship. I would include just things that probably like it will be some like similar stuff. I will include the things that are very similar to the job role. I don't know if you are maybe they're like I can't think of any example right now, but I don't know, maybe you're running like a spreadsheet where you have to list all of the like the clients that you're working with, like that's considered like admin, like data entering and stuff like that. I will include that in the internship. So just find like a few few bullet points in your internship that are similar to the admin job that you're applying if possible, and then just like focus more on the admin role that you had until May. Destiny, anything else to add?
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's definitely good to add an experience that you're currently engaged in. So definitely put that finance internship on your resume. And I think between the finance internship and the admin role, there's definitely going to be experience and skills that cross over. So for example, your data management skills, data entry, potentially record keeping, attention to detail. So those are all things that you can list as well.
Can I
Okay.
ask one more question, if you guys don't mind? Yeah. So many a times I've heard people saying that put your, experience, at the top and then your education. Like, does it really matter how you, structure your resume? Like every template has its own way. Some says you some in some resume it's like on the top the education, and in some it's at the bottom. Like how does thing work?
So typically for me, what I would say is that if your education is quite relevant. So for example, maybe you just took an office administration program and you've just completed it and you're applying to office admin jobs and your previous work experience was maybe in customer service. I would then put the education first because that's directly relevant. And then maybe potentially you had a co-op experience or internship that's related to that as well. So that's how I would choose it. Really, what's most relevant to the job in terms of the order. I don't know if Katerina wants to add to that.
What I usually kind of like suggest is if you're a new grad, a new student, if you just like Destiny said, like if you just like graduate or like completed a course, education should be like on the top. But if let's say you completed your education 5 years ago, education is on the bottom. As like somebody that like is doing a lot of recruitment, when I look at resumes, doesn't matter if the education is top and bottom, I'll scroll because I look for that. That is like one of the most important things that I look at. So I will look for, like scroll the resume. I don't even like say, oh, this person like put the resume at the bottom and I had to like scroll, like I really like, I don't think recruiters like really care. But for new grads, if you're just like currently, like if you're graduating soon, education should be on the first page on the at the top, so they can see that you're a new grad, and then you can list your experience, especially if you don't have a lot of experience or if you don't have a co-op, let's say during while you're in school.
Yeah,
But
thank
yeah,
you.
but
Yeah.
one thing for everybody to remember, that every single person, they have a way of like writing their resumes. If now Destiny and I sit like and write a resume, would be like completely different, because we all have like different ways how we want to like list our things. There is nothing wrong with it. Like definitely use like a resume template that you can find on the internet, or just like create one on your own. Like it's very easy to like use Word. Just, you know, like avoid things that we discussed today. No tables, you know, like not like things that will actually cause the ATS, you know, like not be able to select your resume and stuff like that. That is the one thing that you should like pay attention. But just, you know, like write summary, add your skills, add your experience, and you're good. And education, after that, like you should be fine. If you have the role, sorry, the experience, if you have the skills, the recruiters will like find that on your resume. So please do not like overwhelm yourself and think that, oh my goodness, I put the resume, not the resume, I put the education at the bottom, and that's why like you didn't get the job. Like nobody's going to like say that because you put education at the bottom, that's why like we're not going to contact this applicant.
Yeah, thank you so much. And can you help me with one more question, like how to look for co-op's job? Like you should add something in your resume for co-op, or it's just the cover letter thing. Like,
So are you currently enrolled like in a program that requires co-op?
yes, yes.
Okay, so what you can usually do is when you apply, you can, yes, include it in the cover letter that you're looking for an internship. But also, you know, like when you include your education, probably you will say, for example, if you started in 2021, you will put education on top, and you can just say 2021 like dash present, right? So they know that you're still in school, and that's why you're applying for the co-op. So there is nothing specifically to say about the co-op, but you know, like in your cover letter, you can just say, when I read about, you know, like the role that you have posted, then you can add the like the role name. I'm very interested in this position, you know, like, and I think I'll be a good fit. And then they will know, like usually they know the students, you know, like need a co-op. So there's no need for you like to do anything around it. Just make sure that education is on top, so they can see that you're like recently enrolled in school.
Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you.
No worries. Destiny, do you have anything to add?
No, not for that.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Do we have more questions? Okay, I think we have. I'm finding it challenging making keywords flow naturally in my resume. Are there any other tools or resources other than JobScan, Demand, etc., that either of you would recommend to assist? Hope this question makes sense. I think I understand, so I can start. So here is my advice. Like what I would recommend, and I really like what Destiny said, like when she was like doing the PowerPoint, what she said, like print the job description and highlight the keywords. If you don't have the option to like print the job description, my advice is to copy and paste it in a Word document and then highlight the keywords. You don't have to use every single keywords in your resume. If you have some experience, probably you will have the same keywords in your resume. What we are saying is, let's say in the resume, it's mentioned to have innovative skills. Like, okay, I'm not going to say innovative. Maybe let's say to have organizational skills, right? And right now you have in your resume listed as time management. I would change it that to organizational skills. Or maybe I will add a line and explain like how you have those skills, right? But like use the word like organizational. What I would do to make it this easier, please have a skill section. That will make your life like 10 times easier. You don't have to use use the keywords in a sentence. If in the job description say that they need somebody that has good communication skills, problem solving skills, and organizational skills, in that skill section that you have in your resume, just add those words. So there's no need to worry like how like the sentence flow and it like makes sense. I will use that skill section to be kind of like the section that the ATS will pick up the keywords.
Thank you so much. That makes it so much clearer.
No
No
problem.
problem.
Any other
So-
question? We have 8 minutes. How
you're
do you?
welcome to-
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to do a little wrap up of
Uh-huh.
basically all the key points that we went through today, and just to give a quick summary. So
Perfect.
in terms of applicant tracking systems, I would say most important things that we reviewed are to use relevant keywords. So like we just mentioned, making sure that they're industry specific and they are from the job posting. We recommend using a skills section. That would probably be the easiest way to integrate it into your resume, as Dion mentioned, so that it feels more natural. Also using standard headers for resume sections. So just your basic titles, education, work experience, volunteer experience, those will work. And simple formatting is important as well. And keeping in mind the font that you're using. So Arial, Times New Roman, or Calibri is what we recommend. Beyond that, not adding in images, not using tables, any other symbols that the software system is not going to pick up.
I think somebody's using AI to help them write notes. So this is just like a summary of what we have that discussed.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I
Just
think
a quick question.
yes.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
Somebody has recommended Chat GP to me, or Chat GPT, or whatever it's called. Do you guys recommend that, or does the ATS tracking system, would they know that you've used some sort of other AI to kind of build your resume?
To be honest, I don't have a lot of data on this, because like still like AI, it's pretty new, and now like people started using it. I don't personally think that ATS will have any issues with it, as long as contains keywords that match the job description, right? A lot of people use like AI to like help them write emails, help them write like bullet point summaries for their resumes. I don't think there is anything wrong with using it, but I don't have like now a lot of data to say like, oh, because like somebody used like AI, that's why, like their like ATS didn't pick up their resume. I don't think that it's true, to be honest, because there is nothing wrong with like getting a little help to like write a bullet point or like a summary. And as long as, like you use the keywords, then you should be fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, ladies.
No problem.
No problem.
I was just hoping if we can bring the PowerPoint up so we can share, like talk a little bit about the coming up events, and also some of the oops, perfect. Okay. So we have a few more sessions until the end of the year. So on Monday, December 4th, we have like an expert panel. So this is for all of you there in the tech sector and you are taking some tech courses or enrolled in a tech program. We have careers, like it's called Careers in Tech, and it's sponsored by a company. So I think I'm pronouncing this correct. Tech so definitely this would be an amazing session to attend, because they are going to talk a lot about their careers in tech and they will give probably amazing advice. Then on December 13, we have a workshop called Finding a Job in Canada. I think this will be like a really great workshop to attend if you're currently looking for a job. And then on December 20th, we have a Devon holiday special. We would be so excited if you can join this one. And then the next one in the new year, we have on January 3rd, which is Elevate Your Job Search, and then 2024 Kickstart. So we might cover here like some trends and like some things that are important for you to know. So please visit Devon and then check these events. They are free and you can register. Okay.
Ladies, will there be a transcript of this sent out, or?
To be honest, so what we are going to do is we recorded this session and we are going to share the recording with all of you. You will receive an email with the recording in the next few days. I think somebody else that joined this session is using AI to help them write their notes. So I don't think that a transcript will be shared with everybody. I think only they are going to receive the transcript. But you're going to receive a recording of this session. So if you want to review it again and take some notes, you can do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for
Yes.
participating today and asking your questions. We're always happy to answer.
Yeah, it was a very interactive workshop. So thank you so much for joining. And again, the recording will be sent to by email in the next few days.
Thank you,
Okay.
ladies. This was so helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Happy to hear that. Thank you, everybody.
Hope everyone has a good night.